Hi, everybody. Welcome. Sorry, I am late. I went to go make my coffee and then I realized I didn't have any creamer, so I couldn't make my coffee, but I got my energy drink. There's that. I'll have to go get some creamer later. Welcome, everybody, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much. I apologize for being a little bit late. Let me let the people know that we are live. We live now. So, a couple of things to give commentary about. A couple things, I guess, happened last night where it got really crazy outside of the Haro home. So, we got to talk about that. Let me let the people know that we live. Everyone, we live now. Yes, baby. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. Sorry about that. Today starts parole hearing for the Menendez brothers. There's that too, JK delete. I'm glad you said that. I am behind on videos. I have to update on, there was an Epstein file update. That's going to be a pre-recorded. There's two other videos that I'm working on that are going to be pre-recorded that will probably drop over the weekend. We have a Diddy update too that I have to do. So I'm very, very much behind because we've been trying to keep on top of this situation with Emmanuel Haro. So I'm doing that, but please know, keep an eye out for pre-recorded videos, okay? Welcome everybody. Welcome. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Let me see what you guys are saying. Good morning. I ran out of my creamer, so I couldn't even do anything. It's 5 p.m. where you're at. Oh my goodness. So why don't we start with this? Apparently, there was a fight or maybe a verbal argument that happened last night with On the Theta. You guys know On the Theta has been out on the streets giving updates, getting footage, talking to the people, talking to the locals about what's going on with the search. So I was watching a little bit of this on Icamel, and then I was like, well, let me go see what everybody's saying on TikTok. So I guess yesterday On the Theta got into like a verbal argument with some of the neighbors there. I'll let you guys watch and let me know what you guys think.
Are you a trucker?
This is a job.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Making shit stink worse.
Your breath stinks.
Hey, we can't have these altercations like
Exactly. Go inside, sir. Go to sleep. Go to your house. Go to your property.
I didn't
Yeah.
start anything. I just told you to
Whatever, bro. Nobody's giving a fuck what you said. Nobody cares. Take them over there and interrogate them over there, bro. Because right here, you're not going to get nowhere because I'm not going to shut up. On the Tira, Belloso, we're here for Manuel. The main concern is Emmanuel here. I don't really care what is going on here. If they got an issue with the officer could take him over there to his property, and the officer can now. I'm here for Emmanuel, homie, on the Tira. Thanks, on. Unless I'm under arrest, thank you. Jeez Louise, homie, I can't even do my pinche job. You over here telling me I don't work, but I'm working at 9:45 in the evening, and I'm still at work. And he's over here talking about I don't got no pinche job. I make more money than him, guaranteed, bro.
That's what I heard too, Ginger. Red Ginger. This was after the neighbor ran up and got into Theta's face, screaming and attacking. Yeah, so it's gotten so the neighbors now are all involved, and they're not really happy. The thing is like they're not like the way the property is set up. They're not like this isn't like a HOA, y'all. Like this isn't like the streets. They're very it's rural, like everybody's got their own little side. So I'm not really sure. Like, can the neighbors just do they really hear everything going on? I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Gee, Louise. No sock activities having that. Oh, neither do I. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna give you. Can you hold this? You know what? Yeah, tell them the problem with that, deputy. Tell them the problem with this is. Let's start there. What's the problem with this? The problem here is. Okay, here's space.
You're interrupting people's lives, dude.
Tell us the problem.
I'm helping nobody.
You got a chicken on your shoulder.
Been dealing with this for days.
Oh,
He said you got a chicken on your shoulder. You know how on TikTok you can send like, I don't know, you pay money to have these little like animations come into the screen, and he's telling him you have a chicken on the shoulder. Oh my god. What do y'all think? The neighbors, are they in their right to feel the way that they do? I mean, how would you guys feel if this was happening in your neighborhood? Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
You're frustrated. Emmanuel has been dealing with this since the 14th.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. There's a child missing.
Man, you should go. You're constipated, motherfucker. You ain't frustrated. I know a regular diet when I fucking hear it, homie. Yeah, exactly.
Get you paid, bud.
Yeah, a lot too.
Let this gentleman do his
Yeah,
job.
because you're not letting me do mine, bitch. You're not letting me do mine, so why the fuck all of a sudden you care about his job?
That's right.
You care about his job, but you don't give a fuck about mine. Fuck you, homie.
No, I can't.
Yeah, write that up. Yeah, fuck you, fuck your property, fuck your fucking no. Yeah, exactly. You're bitter. You're
Oh,
bitter. You're fucking bitter because you ain't got no kids.
oh my God. Yeah, pinche Becky, it's like rural area homes are spaced out. You said I don't really think they should be out there after 10 p.m. though, especially with loud noises, says Real T. If my neighbors had prior abuse of children, please stand out in front of his house all night. Oh my goodness. Well, what do y'all think? How would you guys land with this? This gives me Brian Laundrie. Yeah, y'all remember that? The true crime community does the most, y'all. They do. But I will say this, okay? And I'm not like, these homes are different than the one from like Brian Laundrie or even Quentin Simon. I mean, these are a bit more spacious. There's more property. Like people can just go on their side of the acres. I mean, there's room in between. No, and we knew that this was going to happen at some point. That there was going to be a protest or something was going to happen where people were going to be gathering outside the house because this was just the next step. When people aren't getting the answers, that's what happens. They go to the next step, which is take it to the street, typically right outside in front of their house, you know.
Let's just calm down.
Nah, I'm calm. Trust me, and I'm very distant. So ain't nobody a threat here. So you're a fucking joke. You want to talk about a joke? Yeah. How many idiots does it take to talk shit in front of somebody's fucking property? One, you fucking lame.
So are you.
Yeah.
So
Are you a trucker?
this is a job.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Making shit stink worse.
Your breath stinks.
I mean, that's how bad it got. Let's see. Let me see if I could play this one. Where's the volume on this? There's no volume on this one. I mean, they really got into it. They really got into it. Why is no volume here?
Making shit stink worse.
Man, your fucking breath stinks like shit.
No fuck. Trust me.
Have you looked? Have you looked? Have you looked?
Have I looked? I live here, motherfucker.
Did you
Have I
look?
looked? I don't have to. I'm not a cop. I don't need to. Get a job.
Yeah, you also ain't part of this community, obviously. You also ain't part of this community.
If you suck.
Your Hana pussy sucks, homie. Go eat that. Motherfuckers ain't talking all that shit, bitch.
Ooh, I hadn't seen that one.
Fuck you, bro. I'm sorry you had to see that was Moscow. Moscow has entered the chat. Hey, that was some bitch ass shit though. You can flash me. Shut up. Your mama's pussy stink, bitch. Shut up. Bro, I can smell your breath from here and you're 30 yards away. She's a weed. Come over here, dog. What a sleep. Take a melatonin, homie, and chill. You want some Nesca? I got some Killer Kush. This report has been brought to you by Killer Kush, homie. Smoke weed every day. I'm gonna end this live, Holmes.
I mean, he got really heated, right? Actions like this gives YouTubers and TikTokers a bad name.
Making shit stink worse.
Man, your fucking breath stinks like shit.
No fuck. Trust me.
Have you looked? Have you looked? Have you looked?
Have I looked? I live here, motherfucker.
Did you
Have I
look?
looked? I don't have to. I'm not a cop. I don't need to. Get a job.
Yeah, you also ain't part of this community, obviously. You also ain't part of this community.
If you suck.
Your Hana pussy sucks, homie. Go eat that. Motherfuckers ain't talking all that shit, bitch. Fuck you, bro. I'm sorry you had to see that was Moscow. Moscow has entered the chat. Hey, that was some bitch ass shit though. You can flash me. Shut up. Your mama's pussy stink, bitch. Shut up. Phil, bro, I can smell your breath from here and you're 30 yards away. Jeez Louise. Come over here, dog. What a sleep. Take a melatonin, homie, and chill. You want some Nesca? I got some killer kush.
Yeah, so this one didn't stay up for too long. I mean, that's a couple people have the full footage, but this is the stuff that came out. So the cops were called a couple times, and Tira was apologetic. Here's the deal, y'all. Like, I think Tira, in my opinion, yes, the neighbor might have gotten to his face and whatnot. I'm not disputing that. I wasn't there. Some of you guys weren't there. We might have watched whatever streams we watch. But you need to wait, honey. But if you really want to help this situation, then you need to make sure you're not taking resources like those officers from a missing child. Does that make sense? Or from an abducted child or from an active investigation. Sorry, guys, I had somebody at my door. So that's my thought on that. I think that that's my only thought on that, right? Like, I know people get heated. It's a missing child. People want to do different things, but that's part of the issue here that happens a lot when various other like social media influencers and streamers get involved, is that then you have to kind of wonder, well, you got law enforcement coming down here because it's getting a little too crazy. Are you taking away from what is an active investigation of whether this child is missing or has been abducted or has been, hurt, right? Like, does that take away from that type of environment? And it's just food for thought. Tira was apologetic. I did see that he did apologize later on, but I think that this is something that Tira has to kind of keep in mind. And that's the problem with people that go out there on the property to protest or do the most. Is your protesting or is your streaming out there to protest because people are paying for you to do that? Is that taking away from an active investigation, from an active call or outreach? People don't ever think about that. They only think about the moment and the reaction that they're going to get right then and there. That's my thought on that. But y'all, we don't have to agree. Let me know what you guys think overall. And I mean, the shit gets heated, it really does. So we have to let the cops do their job so we can get to the bottom of this. It's one thing, like, I don't think that, like, it's an issue to be out there if you're like, every journalist goes out there. There's been journalists out there. Let's put the streamers aside, but 7 News, ABC, NBC, CBS, these people are going out there getting their news, right? It is no different than myself or other streamers doing the same. But what the streamers have to weigh in is ABC News doesn't have to be out there with the sign. Okay. They don't have to be out there protesting. They don't have to do this. They have ways of doing it. If y'all want the respect that some of these major media outlets, even though I don't like them, if you want them, then you have to understand that you got to play in that playground with them too. And that's something that I've come to learn, that it's not always like what you want. It's going to be something else. So I don't know, something to keep in mind. And yes, I agree, but is this the answer? Does this take away from resources from an active investigation? That's the question that I have. Just a thought. Y'all let me know what you guys think about that. And it's private property, so I wouldn't even be going in certain areas and stuff like that. People got to be careful. Like I said, I like Tita. I like, the stuff that he's kind of putting out. I don't have a problem. But he needs to kind of tone it down a little bit and kind of maybe weigh in to figure out, like, is this having, like, I'm already doing all this legwork, right? And putting out this information, but is this a really smart thing for me to do given that there's an active investigation? That's just my thought on that. But y'all let me know. You don't have to agree with me. Let me know what you guys think. Journalists aren't supposed to be involved with themselves. Well, you don't want to become the story. That's the thing. Once the TikToker, once the YouTuber becomes the story, and now it becomes about the YouTuber, which is what happens oh my God, like 100% of the time that YouTubers get involved in true crime stories. Okay. True crime cases. The YouTuber becomes the story, the main headline, where it's like you got this missing child, but it's the YouTuber who is getting the attention. Tell me I'm lying in the chat if that's not the case. What we remember from Brian Laundrie, we remember all those protesters that were out there, and some of us even know them by name because they followed other cases, right? You become the headline. You got another YouTuber who like is the headline of the Idaho 4 because now she's dating or engaged to the like whatever that story is. People become the headlines of these stories. And it's like, well, I thought this was like about the missing child or the murder or the case. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. We don't have to agree. I'm just saying, that's when it becomes a little gray. Don't become the headline. Don't become the headline. Don't become the person that takes away from the spotlight of this missing child. Because that's not it's not a good deal. But anyways, that's just my opinion, but y'all don't have to agree. Let's see. Let's see. No, and the neighbor's not. I completely understand what you're saying. I get it. I don't think the neighbor was right about that. I don't think, I mean, if there's a curfew for them to be out there, they need to respect it. I mean, if I'm out there with a sign asking where this baby's at, that's what I'm doing. But, these neighbors better not touch me. I get it. I get this piece. Everybody's got their right. Completely get it. But what I'm saying is that you have to weigh that in as a streamer. Are you the headline or Emmanuel Haro? Because last time I checked, it's Emmanuel Haro that's quote unquote missing, harmed. That's what I'm saying. People gotta weigh that in. But that's my thought on that. They both was wrong. Yeah, I think so too. The neighbor, he's out, like even what he was saying was out of pocket too. That I was like, what you mean? Well, I let law enforcement handle it. Yeah, but this is your community too, right? Like this is all like y'all are neighbors. These are all your communities. But you also can't be, you got to understand like people got boundaries, people got different things. And yeah, that's my thought on that. But y'all let me know what you think. Now, Abby Blabby did go on News Nation, and I told you guys she's been in contact with the family of the baby girl. What is it? Promise Faith, right? She was a 10-week-old that was harmed by ugly face Jake Haro. Okay. And then it turns out that like all this CPS involvement goes deep, guys. I didn't even know how many times has Jake Haro been married. Do we know that? Anybody, have we figured this out? Because he was married to a woman named Vanessa. Well, it sounds like he was married before. Did y'all figure, like, I didn't know this at all, that he had been married before. So I don't know how many times this guy has been married. 3 times? Listen, shout out to everybody that remarries and stuff like that. But like he's had kids. The first lady put a restraining order on him. Okay. Then he got with another woman. I think that was Vanessa. And now he's with Rebecca. So he's got children from all these previous marriage. Don't they make vasectomies free nowadays? Just like they make every other, service plan free. Like, why is this guy making babies? Especially when he's not like a good dad. Like, I do wonder, did anybody ever file for child support? Like, they should definitely be making these vasectomies something, snip, 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 and that's it. Yours was free? Well, there you go. Some insurance will pay for vasectomies, okay? They will. I heard it. I saw it on researchers. Let me see. You said 3, married 3 times. He just shouldn't be having any children. He shouldn't, especially knowing the details of all the ish that he did.
It is day 6 of a desperate search for a 7-month-old baby boy named Emmanuel Haro. And the details that we've just learned about the baby's father and his criminal past, absolutely hair-raising. The number of children that have been moved out of the Haro home into the custody of others is nothing short of alarming. Let me take you back for a moment. Baby Emmanuel was reported missing last Thursday. His mother, Rebecca Haro, claimed that a stranger approached her from behind, said, "Hola," and then knocked her unconscious. She says when she woke up, baby.
You know what? I hear everybody say hola. Everybody's saying, oh, like, that's like, I hate to put it this way because it just sounds so fake. It really does. It really does.
Emmanuel was gone, right there in the parking lot, gone. But according to investigators, Rebecca's story didn't add up all the way. Rebecca refused a lie detector test, and both she and her husband have stopped cooperating with the police, the authorities say. To be clear, there have been no charges filed against Jake or Rebecca Haro. And Jake's attorney insisted right here on this show last night that his client, Jake Haro, is cooperating, despite that statement from the police suggesting otherwise. Tonight it is Jake's past, however, that is becoming a lot more worrisome.
It is.
Yesterday, we learned about his felony child cruelty conviction, the one that put him in jail for 6 months back in 2023.
Bullshit.
Both Jake and his ex-wife, Vanessa Avila, pleaded guilty to the charges. And tonight we have learned that crime was committed against his own 10-week-old baby girl, a child who survived but suffered horrendous lifelong injuries. We've got photos of the child. And I should tell you that the family has given us permission to show those photos, likely as a warning about Jake Haro. But I do want to tell you this. When we show you those photos, they are quite disturbing. So fair warning in advance. Here is the little girl in her hospital bed, 10 weeks old.
This is, I remember when I showed you guys before the major media outlets like News Nation picked it up. I was one of the first myself, and I think there was another creator that went live and talked about what Abby Blabby posted. And the reason why these photos were posted was like the family, which is on Vanessa Avina's side, Jake Haro's ex-wife, she wanted to make sure that people understood that there is a pattern of behavior that follows this man. Okay. I mean, to put this out here to give people a warning, I'm glad that she did. And I'm glad it wasn't like people were looking for these photos. It was literally family reaching out to vloggers to do this because it was important.
She is recovering here from several fractures to her ribs, to her skull, and to her legs. She is also recovering from a brain hemorrhage.
Crazy.
This little girl was eventually removed from the Haro home, and she was adopted by one of Vanessa's cousins. That cousin has cared for this little girl and even renamed her. Her new name is Promise Faith. According to the cousin, Promise is now 7 years old. But take a look at this picture. The damage that she suffered from those injuries was permanent. Promise was left blind. Promise was left unable to walk. Promise was left unable to talk and unable to swallow due to strangulation. We are told from this cousin that Promise has 3% brain function, that Promise needs a feeding tube, and that Promise will need round-the-clock care for the rest of her life. So let's just contemplate this as you see these pictures. Jake Haro, who beat this child, received 6 months in
6
jail
months.
and probation afterwards. The same cousin who adopted this little girl, Promise, also took in Jake's oldest son, who she says was born with fetal alcohol syndrome.
We reported that. So took both of the children, guys. And thank God, guys, thank God that these children, that families stepped up, because I'm telling you, y'all, it is very hard to have, first of all, it's hard to have families step up and take over. As somebody, I worked in the system for 10 and a half years, y'all. I'm telling you, to have family take over the care of, family, even foster, bigger systems, it is so difficult, right? So the fact that the cousin stepped up, I mean, my heart and I give her all the flowers in the world for doing this, right? And they actually finalized the adoption. They changed the names and everything, right? But this is this man should have never had children after this, right? But he continued. He continued. Okay? He had it with Rebecca Haro. Okay? And this is, and it's 6 months in jail. It's a slap in the face. El Harley, thank you so much for the $2. Nobody gonna say hola before knocking you out. Lies. It's weird. Rebecca Haro's story is weird. I will say that, but the lady did say that. Thank you those that supported the channel, y'all. Again, this content does get censored because of, the content of it. Make sure you guys are supporting the channel and hitting the like button. I really do appreciate it. To give you guys some insight though, honestly, like, this is, even though this situation is the way that it is, family stepped up to take over the care of both of these children. They did not deserve this whatsoever.
That child was named after his father, Jake, but the cousin also renamed the little boy. His new name is Carlos. And now this same cousin, who has taken in 2 of Jake Haro's children, one that Jake Haro beat into a lifelong condition, another that was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. Now this cousin is caring for a 3rd child removed from the Haro home just this week.
Yep.
A 2-year-old child.
So they had to contact her for a 2-year-old child, y'all. Okay? They had to contact them so not only this is bad father, okay? And bad mother too, right? Because Vanessa Haro also failed her children. This is a bad like, I'm sorry, you harm animals and children 10 weeks old. Like, it's unexcusable to only get 6 months in jail. Crazy. It's crazy work, guys.
Was taken out of Jake and Rebecca's care. I'm joined now by true crime digital creator Abby Escobar, who spoke directly with this cousin who has been caring for these children. Abby uncovered these incredible details. First and foremost, I don't even know what the word is. Apoplectic, devastated, angry, all of the above. That these 3 kids have had to be moved out of the Haro home, and yet the Haros still had children living there. Let's just start right there, Abby. Child cruelty, a prison sentence, and this little child was left with lifelong incapacities. How is it that they still had kids?
Well, let me say this again, and I've said this before. CPS doesn't work the way people think that it works. This man could have murmured a child, right? And that could have been years ago. And then he decides to get with another woman and have more children. Okay. And now those children are in danger. There is the system is not set up to put a tracker on people, y'all. It just isn't. It's set up, and this is why the community is so important. This is why I think, like, even the fact that, like, to a certain degree, even Latira, who was going off on the neighbor, he's got a point to a certain degree. It takes a community of people that really care to really care about the issues that are happening. So the people that knew that, he had harmed this 10-week-old and then the oldest child, right? That they had both been harmed. I mean, the family unit was probably well aware of the shit that he did to these kids. And now he got this other woman pregnant. And now, like, they could have easily placed a call and said, hey, my cousin, my whatever, my friend, he's having a baby, but he's got this in his background. That is what a concerned citizen does. But it's not like there is a marker on Jake Haro to figure out where he's planting his seed. It doesn't work that way. Once the system terminates rights, once the system is done, it's just done. Like, it's not going to keep following you after every child that you have, unless there's an SO situation. It's a little bit different. The system doesn't work that way. And it's kind of like you're damn if you do and damn if you don't, because people want a system that they wants it to be reactive, but then they don't want it to be reactive. Does that make sense? There's times where the system is way too overreactive, and then they take kids and then they put them in foster care, and they shouldn't have done that. And then there's times where the system completely fails the child. Gabriel Hernandez being an example of that, right? Not only the system, but the community as a whole, that they're seeing this little child with bruises and nobody's saying anything. I don't want to get involved. Let the cops handle that. That's none of my business. Okay.
I don't get it. It is such a huge injustice. I mean, they practically killed that child.
Yes, they
and here
did.
they are just living their lives like nothing even happened. How is that fair?
Well, and it's shocking to think that there were 2 other kids at least.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there are more, but Jake Haro Jr., renamed Carlos, and now this 2-year-old baby, not pictured on your screen. This is baby Promise, who's now 7, but another baby that's 2 years old that has been moved into the cousin's care, and of course, baby Emmanuel. How is it that the authorities allowed children to live in this home? Are we getting any answers?
You would think that any children they had would have immediately been taken by CPS just because of the history.
There is no flagging, y'all. There is no flag system that exists. Okay, it's a little bit different. If it was an SO who had a child and he is an SO who perpetrated on young children, it would be a little bit of a different story, because then you at least have one system involved, right? You have the judicial system, who at the very least has their registry and they're able to find out, oh, somebody can call, he's got a kid on the way. Okay, he shouldn't be around children. Then that becomes a whole different thing, because then that system calls CPS and then they get the whole ball rolling. But there is no system exists like that. And a lot of the systems that we have currently to document does not communicate with the next state. Okay, there is no international system where social workers use to record all this stuff to figure out what happened. There isn't. Every state has its own registry and documentation system. Okay, and then when stuff gets real, say it goes federal or something's happening, then there might be lawyers involved to get information from the next state. That's how it happened. But it's not that easy. It just doesn't exist, y'all. It doesn't. Okay.
But no, they were allowed to remarry, have more children, and nothing happened. I mean, this
One
little
of the
girl
other things,
actually.
Go ahead.
I was just to say, this little girl has to fight every day just to stay alive, and they're out like nothing. It's just
and I'll
not
tell
fair.
you, it's hard to tell from some of the pictures we're showing. It's hard to tell, but Promise, again, who's now about 7, has some of the same facial features as her little brother, Emmanuel.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people have wondered, was Emmanuel beaten the same way that Promise was beaten, so as to have rendered him with those same facial features? Do you know anything about that?
So I don't, but I've been talking about this on my TikTok and my Facebook, and there have been a lot of comments saying things like that. People noticing the similarities. It really has to make you wonder.
Well, all of it is just sort of unbelievable that these kids still lived in the home after this little child, Promise, was rendered in this condition from the beating she received from her father, according to the cousin. Let's talk about the cousin, Vanessa Avila's cousin. And let's remember, Rebecca Haro is the woman who is claiming that her baby Emmanuel was taken from her when she was hit over the head. Her husband, Jake, was married to another woman, a woman named Vanessa Avila. She also pleaded guilty to the beating of baby Promise. Why is it that this cousin feels it's so important to get this story out and to get those pictures out?
Well, I think that she feels that justice wasn't served the first time, which, I mean, it obviously wasn't, but she hasn't told me directly, but she has made comments to the point of, if justice would have been served the first time, then this wouldn't have happened to more children. So she's personally affected by this cousin.
Does this cousin of Vanessa Avila believe the story that the Haros are telling on TV in this clip right here, where she says, I was hit in the head, I woke up, the baby was gone, please help me find the baby? The cousin doesn't believe it. What has she told you?
Absolutely not. excuse me. She said that when she first heard the news story, it just broke her to pieces. She immediately had a feeling, as I feel most people have. I mean, the story just doesn't really make very much sense.
Yeah, the police have said it doesn't make sense. They put out
Nope.
a statement that her stories don't add up and that they believe foul play is possible. They've taken cadaver dogs to the
Yes.
Haro home. There are reports that there were some kind of digging activity at the Haro home as well. In the meantime, just knowing now about this history, about these 3 other children now living in Vanessa Avala's cousin's care, how are those children now? How is this cousin? And I understand she wants to remain nameless. She's also putting out a plea to everyone, please stop. Don't come to my children's school. Reporters showed up at her children's school. I mean, how are they?
I see what I'm saying. This is where people take it to a whole different level. Leave these kids who have had to have found some level of normalcy alone throughout the situation. I mean, think about it. The routine, the daily routines, the going to school, the having this kind of attention, the knowing that there's this connection when these children have been adopted and their last name has been changed, that's never going to go away, y'all. Like even with that the tie is always there, you know? So I really hope that people kind of like respect that, especially when it comes to the privacy of this cousin and the children. They should.
Managing through all of this?
The kids, they're wonderful. The cousin has provided these kids with such an amazing life. She and her husband, they love them. They take wonderful care of them. The children are happy and they're well.
I mean, Promise has to have round the clock care and a feeding tube.
Yeah.
She's unable to feed because of the strangulation reportedly. It's just, that is an enormous amount of work that they are putting into the care of this poor child. I just don't understand how it only yielded 6 months and also yielded a father who was allowed to come out and still have 3 children in his home. That's the part I don't understand. Are there any other details that this cousin shared?
Well, she said that Promise, they were told that they didn't think she would even live a week after this happened, but they have done everything they can for this little girl to keep her going. You know, she's got the tracheostomy tube. She has to be suctioned frequently so she doesn't choke on her own mucus. The feeding tube. She can't walk. She can't talk. She's blind.
Nothing.
It's just horrible. But I mean, she said that Promise is her miracle baby, and really she is. It's amazing that she survived that. 10 weeks old.
It is, but just tragic that she was, you know, condemned to a life like this because of the acts of her father.
Yep.
Absolutely.
If all of the cousins reporting, you know, is accurate.
Yeah. And then he gets to remarry and have more kids. And
that's the problem that I have, is like he gets to remarry, he gets to have, and I get it. It's like, oh my God, though. There is this, you know, how do I say this? Like in the system, a lot of the CPS cases, you know, that they're named when they're filing, it's always under the mother's last name, right? It's never under the father's last name. It's always under the mother's last name. In the last couple of years, they've done really good by, you know, getting the fathers more involved in some of the stuff that, you know, everybody should be involved in when it comes to children, right? But the mother's always like, if a mother is, say that she's had 5 or 6 kids, okay, and every 5 or 6, every child, she's always tested positive for rugs or whatever it may be, right? Mom is gonna, there's a level of tracking her, but when it comes to fathers, there isn't. They always kind of get well, we don't know, he might have been involved, not involved. There isn't always like a level of accountability, but women are held accountable when it comes to the CPS system at a higher rate because of the fact that, you know, the birthing part and the last name and all that, okay? And it's just the way the system is set up. But the fact that here, for example, you have a man who already has a social history with his own children of not being available. I wouldn't surprise me, and I hate to say it wouldn't surprise me if he's never paid any kind of support, or if he is on support and what that even looks like for him. And now he's able to remarry and start his life when he literally put his baby girl, a child, in a wheelchair for the rest of her life with only 3% of her brain functioning. It is never, never, never linear in these situations at all. Never.
There's no intervention, there's no concern. And now a 7-month-old baby is gone. I just feel like more should have been done.
Here we have this, this report at 10 weeks old. I mean, at 10 weeks old, a newborn is so helpless and so tiny and can do so little to upset us, except, create just the utmost joy to know that anyone was capable of creating that much damage to a 10-week-old. I dare say I am very concerned about baby Emmanuel and what might have happened to baby Emmanuel, but it's starting to look more and more suspicious, these pleas for help to find baby Emmanuel. Abby, thank you for your reporting. Break in to the show if you learn more throughout the. I know this is all very much developing and you're learning as you go, but just break in and bring any new reporting that you get throughout.
And I mean, there is literally, it seems like every other hour there is, or at least every other 3 hours, there's always something. Here's something that Abby Blabby found. This was 11 hours ago. Smart move. Jake Haro. This is how I found out he had another wife before Vanessa, and clearly before Rebecca. Smart move. Jake Haro's first ex-wife, Isabel Rebecca Gonzalez, has filed a DV protective order against him, requesting that she and their 11-year-old son, Eli, be protected. The football practice Jake and Rebecca attended the day of the alleged kidnapping was for Eli. Isabel reported that she never saw Emmanuel at the practice. Y'all see this? Look at this. This is interesting piece of information. I have not seen any of the reporters talk about it. And Dr. Edwards, thank you so much again. Thank you, my love, for supporting the channel for the $9.99. Thank you for covering this. It is heartbreaking. It's a hard case to cover. But I feel very inclined to do it because I feel like it just, I don't know, man. Ever since that interview that she did, that I was like, this don't even sound right at all. At all. This is crazy. So it was Eli, the one that was at the football practice. Jake Haro's first wife, Isabel Rebecca Gonzalez, has filed a DV protective order against him, requesting that she and their 11-year-old son, Eli, be protected. The football practice Jake and Rebecca attended the day of the alleged kidnapping was for Eli. Isabel reported she never saw Emmanuel at the practice, so the baby wasn't at the practice. According to sources, after Jake divorced Isabel and got with Vanessa, okay, so it went Isabel, Vanessa, and then Rebecca. According to sources, after Jake divorced Isabel and got with Vanessa, they would leave Eli home alone, as young as 3, and set food and water out for him. Sounds like Jake Haro and Vanessa both should have been locked up a long time ago for various reasons. And this is when they got divorced, Haro and Gonzalez. She just filed a protection order against Jake Haro on the 19th. So that would have been, let's see. Y'all have a calendar? What was the 19th? That would have been Tuesday. She just filed it. This is what a protective parent looks like. Okay? This is what a protective parent looks like. They're not going to wait. They know the gravity of the situation. Oh, no. I'm going to file a protection order. You're not going to see. I don't care if it's football practice, whatever it may be. You told people that your 7-month-old was with you at this football practice game. Isabel, the mother of Eli, didn't see him there. So who's lying? Was this baby ever at the football? When was the last time anybody saw this baby? That's the question. That is the question that we've been asking since the weekend. Y'all, today marks a week since this event happened on the 14th of August. Today is a week. It is a week. It is a week. It is a week. We have yet to hear anything. What is going on? No. So who is the mother to Promise, who her name was Carolina, the 10-week-old was Vanessa. That was Vanessa, right? Promise had her name was Carolina. They changed her name to Promise. Okay, Caroline to Promise. That's what they changed it. So Vanessa was the mother to Promise. Before Vanessa, he was married to a woman named Isabela. This is why I asked you guys earlier, how many times has this man been married? Do we know? Yeah, so it's a weird thing. Vanessa is the mother of her name is not Precious, it's Promise. It's Promise, y'all. I don't want to be that person, but I think Emmanuel is not alive anymore. You're not the only one who feels that way, if that makes sense. So now I'm glad that Isabel is doing right and she's protecting her child. Storm, thank you for being a member for 9 months. You said, promise Emmanuel law, let's make it happen. Well, I mean, if you feel very strongly about it, I think it's something that you could definitely keep pushing forward. It's very difficult to make laws go through, but it's not impossible. But yeah. Rabbit, I was just articulating it wrong. Okay. I don't know what you articulated wrong. Actually, do we know when was the last time anybody saw Manuel? That's the question that we had. We don't know. When was the last time his baby was seen? Isabel, who was at the game, apparently, or she said she never saw Emmanuel with them. She never saw Emmanuel there, right? I will reread what she says. According to the sources, Jake divorced Isabela and got with Vanessa. So it was Isabela, Vanessa, and now Rebecca. Okay, give you guys an idea of all these people. He's been married 3 times. Okay, according to the source, after Jake divorced Isabela, got with Vanessa, they would leave Eli home alone as young as 3 and set food and water out for him. So Jake and Vanessa, I guess, would watch Eli and would leave him alone and would give him food and water. It sounds like Jake Haro and Vanessa both should have been locked up for a long time. Okay. The football practice that Jake and Rebecca attended the day of the alleged kidnapping was for Eli. Isabel reported she never saw Manuel at practice. So Isabel was there at practice too, and she never saw the baby there. Isabel was there at practice too, and she never saw the baby there. She didn't see nothing. Right? That's what I'm hearing. Hold up, y'all. Let me text my sitter real quick. My phone literally just died. Who would marry garbage? Lord have mercy. If anybody saw the baby at the football game, did they leave him in the car? I don't know. She was the one who drove to Big 5, Rebecca with the baby, right? So Isabel says she never saw the baby there. Maybe she didn't get close or anything like that. We definitely need a press conference, but I don't think we're there yet. Now, maybe there might be an arrest before the press conference, or maybe there might be an arrest and then the press conference. But Isabel felt like there was enough for her to go to the court and file a restraining order for herself and for her child. And I think that was wonderful. And I think that was smart. Good and smart of her to have done that, because you just don't know. You don't know what could happen. And she should have been, she needs to be proactive on that. So I'm glad. And this is the first time I've seen this here. So I'm glad that it's being said and she's being proactive about it. Give me 1 sec. Hold up, y'all. I gotta text my sitter real quick. So Abby Blabby was able to pull this up. Now, yesterday, I guess Rebecca and Jake Haro were at the Riverside Superior Juvenile Court. Okay, again, hand by hand, hand holding and everything. Let me see if I can play this.
Haro, the parents of 7-month-old Emmanuel, they were exiting the Riverside Superior Juvenile Courthouse this morning, where I was able to track them down and try to ask them questions about the disappearance of their son. Investigators say they're no longer cooperating. Their attorney says they are, but of course I'd like to ask my own questions. They refused to speak with me, instead pointing to their attorney, who was in the courthouse. I did try to speak with Vincent Hughes, but he was busy getting to a next trial. So this is Jake and Rebecca Haro, the parents.
So yeah, the grandma did say that, and Tony just put that in the chat too. The grandmother, you're right, Tony. The grandmother, I think, said that they always left the baby in the car during practice because he didn't have vaccinations, but I don't believe a word she says. Could something have happened in the car and then he died? I don't know. I mean, it's hot over there, y'all. Her mom, Emmanuel's grandmother, okay, so paternal, from paternal side, said she never took him out of the car because he wasn't vaccinated. I don't know, man. I don't know. Did anyone see him the day he went missing? That's the question. When was the last time anybody saw him? It doesn't make sense. So they're going to court. They're being interviewed, y'all. Let me see if I can pull that other picture. They're being interviewed. They're going to court. There's a picture of her walking out of a room, what looks to be, with an investigator. She doesn't have a lawyer. Okay. She doesn't have a lawyer. Rebecca Haro brought in for questioning. Again, this was just yesterday. Y'all. This is what I'm saying, Red Ginger. I've been saying that. I said, girl, because he gives me that impression. Oh my God, is FS really in my chat? Just logged on. There needs to be an arrest today. I think they have enough circumstantial evidence. SF, how are you doing? I know you're out there. Shout out to SF Investigates, y'all. I told you guys he's a channel friend. He actually has been taking a lot of aerial footage out there. I was about to go to your page, actually, to show everybody. This is FS Investigates page, okay? And he's been taking a lot of footage. Jake Haro's attorney claims law enforcement dug holes in the backyard. Some creators are also reporting this based on the lawyer's statement, but this is not true. I scanned the property yesterday, specifically for signs of digging, and there were none. The lawyer is lying. The lawyer is a clown, y'all. The lawyer is a clown. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, Poe, how are you? I'm sorry. Hey, Sylvia, everybody coming through. It's crazy. So SF, I don't know if you're still in the chat. Did you hear that the first wife of Jake Haro filed for a protection order for herself and for her son? So Eli was the one that they went to do the practice with, football practice. And the first wife, Isabella, said that she never saw baby Emmanuel at practice. So I'm wondering, I don't know if you're available. I can definitely pass you a link, but y'all can see the aerial footage right there. I don't see any holes either. You said the lawyer is the male version of, oh my God, come on, VS. You're like, I'm never going to forgive that lady lawyer over there. She's in trouble too, I've been hearing. That lawyer is a clown. Sure, you can send me a link for the audio. Okay. You don't have to show your face. I'm gonna send you a link, okay? Completely understand. Hold up. Check your Twitter DMs. I know I got your number, but check your Twitter DMs. That's when I'm gonna send it to you. Dang. So I just send it to you. So for those that don't know, SF is actually boots on the ground out there. He's going to give us any kind of information. I mean, if there's enough circumstantial evidence, people get on that circumstantial evidence. That's the question. Did she get a lawyer? Because I don't think she did. I mean, they got him a lawyer. They got him a lawyer. They want to make sure he's protected, but not her. I'm telling you, they're going to throw this on her. Somehow, he's going to be the victim of this. He's going to be the victim of this. I just messaged, I just put it on his, what is it, Twitter DMs. Hopefully he'll hit it. It's a massive property. This is why I'm saying, I know that, like, listen, I know that there are protesters out there. I think we have, okay. SF, it says that you need to connect your mic before I can add you to the stream. See if I can message you. Hold up. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I see you. Hi. Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Do you want to be on camera or not?
No, I just woke up.
Did you? Well, you might want to shut your camera off. Okay. I'm not going to put you on.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. I'm looking out at this. I'm looking out, but you're not, nobody saw you. How are you?
Okay. I'm pretty good. I just got back from Cabazon, and I'm gonna go back again in the morning. Just wanted to come and kind of regroup and find out, what's going on, because there's not a lot to go on in this case. It's such a vast area. I mean, and who knows when if an event happened, when that exactly was, because nobody's seems to have seen this child for a very long time.
So this guy was married like 3 times. I didn't know he had been married 3 times. And the first wife just filed for a restraining order for her and her son. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, and that was kind of odd. That one kind of that was odd timing, right? I mean, because they go to the football game, and it's strange that it would come out now. I wonder if there was some sort of threats that he made about not saying, about keeping quiet about everything, or something. I don't know.
She didn't see the baby. She didn't see the baby at all.
Yeah, I went to Big Five and talked to the people there, and nobody's seen the baby. And I would love to, I know that the grandmother, I guess that'd be her mother, Rebecca's mother, was kind of vocal at the beginning about how, they're just homebodies and whatnot. I'd really like to get a statement from her. When was the last time she claims that she saw Emmanuel? Because that's really, we got to get back to a point to where he was last seen, and then you go from there, because that's probably when an event happened. I mean, and I know that she's using this excuse that he's not vaccinated, and maybe that's why she doesn't take him out of the car, but she's clearly at her brother's funeral. I think that was August 5th or something, right around there. And the baby's not with her. So who was babysitting the baby? That we need to talk to that person, because that person would have seen Emmanuel, if Emmanuel was alive at that point.
She won't take him out of the car for the football practice, but she'll take him out of the car to go to Big Five.
Exactly right. And or let's say that she says, no, I was just changing him. I was leaving the car. Well, that's a crime right there, leaving the baby in the car. I don't care if it's for 30 seconds. I just, why would she be going to if it's that big of a concern, why would she even go to the football practice? It's not.
Yeah. Why leave your property?
It's 25 miles away. And that's not suspect in itself, just because Cabazon is just kind of middle of nowhere. It's just a casino along the 10, basically. And, but I'd like to know who was watching the baby while she was at that funeral, because if the baby was alive, then that person would be able to say, yes, I definitively, I saw the baby. This is where the baby was at, and work from there. Now, if they can't come up with anybody, then did an event happen before? I don't know. Didn't
Yeah.
an event happen the same time that the brother died? Because I don't know if it's true. I've been looking through the calls for service and going through the archived audio, but I heard that possibly the brother died at their house of an overdose. Did something happen all in one? You know, did the baby possibly get their hands in fentanyl or something? You know, who knows?
Something.
I mean,
Oh man. And then this footage right here, I was talking about it yesterday.
Mhm.
So, what were your thoughts? You said it's alter. Somebody did say in my chat when we reviewed it yesterday that it was like sped up way too
well,
much,
yeah.
which
I
makes
mean,
it
if you,
unreliable.
I put it, you know, against, I put it on a timeline up against a regular clip, and so one, it's counting in 2-second increments. Now that may be, and I don't know for sure, that might be because it's one of these old school cameras that's actually taking a still frame every 2 seconds. And when
Yeah.
you play it, it kind of plays it as a video, which that's just the function of the camera. However, and I don't think there's anything. I don't think the person was doing it to be nefarious. I think it makes it a little bit more dramatic when you speed it up. But I would have been nice to see this actual in real time. So I slowed it
Yes.
down to a quarter speed, and you know, I have to evaluate more. I was doing it late last night, and I was literally falling asleep while I was doing it. But
Yeah.
you know, there is a person before the car pulls up. There's a person that's over on the right side, and then they go and it looks like they lean against that wall for a minute, and then they walk towards the store. The car pulls up, the window goes down. It looks like they're saying something, and then goes back up.
Yeah.
But nobody, you know, where's this, if that's her vehicle, and it does appear to me, because I've been there, it does appear to me that that is, you know, the parking spot. And where's her getting out and opening the door and placing the baby down to change the baby, much less somebody rushing in and, you know, kidnapping with the baby.
The baby. So what
And
I did yesterday was I zoomed in because I was like, because it gives you the phone frame, right? And I re-uploaded it and I just zoomed in, but people were saying that it was skipping the time frame. So like here when I'm playing it as, I don't know if you see it on your screen,
yeah, I do.
but I didn't think that that was her car. I mean, initially I was like, I thought because people were saying that she was driving a Tundra, right?
I thought I heard Tacoma. And I don't know that. I don't know exactly what kind of car they impounded. So I don't know. But I will say that this is, you know, the spot apparently, because
Where it happened.
I was taken there by the people that worked there and showed the exact spot she claimed to have been in. But the thing that doesn't make sense. So I've got the actual. So the dispatch when Riverside County dispatches 2 units, so that means by this time she's already called in, and the dispatcher, the 911 dispatcher, has actually assigned the call to 2 units and it labeled it as a 207, which is a kidnapping, and that's at 7:47 and 7:47 and 51 seconds, which would be 19:47:51. So by that time, they've already had enough of a conversation with 911 where the dispatchers put it in the system and the calls generated. So, you know, I think what you got to do is back it up from 19:47:51 on the timeline before that and see what happens, because she's already called and said my child's been kidnapped and it's been put in the system by 19:47:51.
She says she went inside the store and to ask. So the way I see it is the way this camera's face would have captured that, right? We would have seen somebody, even if the angle is not right there, but say it's like a further out to the trees, we would have seen somebody walking across frantically to go
Just
inside a big buy.
Just like you see that person before the car pulls up, walking. When they walk off camera, they're actually walking towards the front door. So, you know, listen, when I talk to the people with that store, and also some people from surrounding businesses that I don't really want to, you know, call out, they laugh about this. I mean, they're just like, this is such a poorly planned story, you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and there is, you know, there are other cameras. The jewelry store camera, there's two cameras, and although there's bushes there, there happens to be this like hole in the bush, so it does have a view of where she was, and there are some cameras from across the street. Now the ones across the street, I know we talked to that unfortunately the way it's angled, it doesn't cover the whole parking lot, but it would get any vehicles exiting the parking lot and stuff like that. So
why
but it
didn't
just seemed like
why didn't
anything.
law enforcement collect this one, SF? What are your thoughts? Like, why didn't this one should have been? They just gave it up that easy to like, and I know it's a private business, like if it was a Walmart, you need a subpoena, you know what I'm saying? So,
right. So
why
I
not?
don't, when I listened to that briefly, the guy, I forget the guy's name, the reporter that's doing, the local
Latita?
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't clear if they said that they hadn't given to law enforcement, or they were just giving it to him also. Did they actually say that law enforcement hadn't requested it, or?
They haven't said that, but I would figure the way I saw it is like, well, if law enforcement took it, you wouldn't have anything to give to this guy, right?
No, well, so they always just so what they do is they just ask for a copy, just like this guy got. They'll just export a MP4 file. So they still have it. Now they probably told them, hey, don't talk to me about it. But I think that guy is kind of a local reporter, celebrity hero, whatever. He fights for the local people and stuff. So they were probably glad to give it to him. I'm glad that they did.
I'm glad they did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wish that the original would have been out.
The what?
I wish that the original would have been out. You know what I mean? Like just the original footage. But
yeah. Well, there's other, and the thing is that there is, when you exit that big five, there's a lot of business. There's probably good video, and I'll bet you they've shown Rebecca the video, and I would not. I really think I'd be shocked if somebody's not in custody today. Not necessarily. I'm not saying that they will have his body or they'll find him, but I think that they will be able to, if nothing else, jam her up originally on lying about this, because if the feds have been involved at all, it is a crime to lie to federal authorities such as FBI.
You think she's covering for her husband?
I go back and forth on that. I don't. I had said on another TV show the other day, I really thought that they'd start cannibalizing each other. Jake and her. I think they'll start. Now he's lawyered up, so that changed some things, but I really think.
No lawyer for her though, right? Isn't that crazy? I'm like,
well,
you want to be protected.
So that lawyer can't represent both of them, because then they would lose privilege. So
right, but she can't get her own lawyer.
Well, that's probably, it makes me wonder if that guy, and I don't know the answer to this. The speculation, maybe it might already be known, because I have been asleep because I need to catch up with sleep. But that picture of her, like by the interview room, that with that guy that I think people think is a detective, that he's holding that file folder. That looks like possibly like a lawyer to me, but I don't know. And the way that, the way that like he's, it just looks like
touching her shoulder.
Your shoulder. A detective would not do that.
He's kind of like touching her shoulder, right?
He would also have a badge on his belt, which I don't see. And
the door, SF says attorney conference.
Right. So now is this? Now I also heard that they were at the. This was taking place at the juvenile center. So does this have to do? Was this a conference with the 2-year-old being taken away? It very well could have been.
Yeah, it's in juvenile court, so I'm assuming that's because that's where CPS holds their.
Yeah, so this could have had to do with the 2-year-old, because I imagine. I mean, I know that you have a lot of experience in that world. I mean, there's probably got to be a hearing within X amount of days once they remove a child.
Depending on the state, 48 to 72 hours if there's a emergency hold or a judge's hold.
I'll bet, but that's what
like
this is.
So this is probably it right here, guys.
and he's probably assigned, you know, to her the equivalent of the public defender, you know. I know they call him something different in that court,
Like
but
a parent attorney. Yeah.
yeah. So that's probably what this is, and you can tell. Listen, if that was law enforcement, he'd have a lot thicker file folder than that by this point.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got 2 documents in there at most, you know.
And she won't be able to use this guy, just for people to know, like, if this is an attorney for her, because she's involved in the CPS case by the 2-year-old, right? Because they had to take emergency custody one way or another. This guy won't be able to represent her in the criminal. She's going to have to get a separate lawyer, basically.
That's right. And
different lawyers.
This guy will not be asking her any questions about Emmanuel, because it's the last thing he wants to know. He doesn't want to get dragged into it.
He doesn't want to get involved. That's right.
And my guess is that both parents probably agreed to leave the child in. I think it went to the cousin there, or wherever that 2-year-old is now. They probably went ahead and agreed to that, considering what's going on, and they don't even know where they'll be staying, probably because as the media, you know, follows them around, they'll probably be bouncing around. And so it was probably just an agreement, I would imagine, with the judge that, you know, the child will stay in whatever custody, and you know, they'll probably have another hearing in 30 days or whatever. And by that
Pretty
time,
much. Do you know, you know that there was a rumor, I don't know, I think if it's a rumor or not, but that she was shown a video and it made her upset and made her not cooperate. Did you hear about, like, what kind of video that was, or if that actually did happen?
No, I mean, I've heard it just like y'all have heard it, but I totally believe it. So it's very rare for law enforcement to come out and that early and say there's inconsistencies in her story. Like, they have to be really, really serious inconsistencies that, you know, can't be. Law enforcement has to be very confident that she is straight up lying to them, and I think that was to put public pressure on them, and through the public, through us, like people online, being like, what is going on? Because they know that they'll see that, and that will get them to start, you know, turning on each other. If it didn't happen with both of them at the same time, you know, then and one's covering for the other, one of them is going to turn, and it appears to me like well, they both you know, absolutely know, and who did or what happened is so hard to say. I don't know, for some reason, even though he's a monster, I can't believe he got 6 months in jail for what he did. And I mean, I'm just mind blown by it, and it just shows the systemic failure when it comes to kids. But for some reason,
there's no registry. I was explaining to the chat, I said, guys, there's no, like, the systems, the way CPS works is that it goes by state. No, one system doesn't report to another, and it's not like there's, if a guy abuses a man abuses a child, it's like he's able to restart another family and have another child, and it may not even it doesn't follow you. It doesn't.
Something, my gut, and this is just gut instinct so far, is something tells me that whatever event happened, it happened with her. It really does. And I think he, you know, having an attorney, he could be trying to work something out. He could flip on her pretty quick, I think. I just feel like something's gonna go down today or tomorrow. And
she is the idiot holding his hand, SF. I'm like, I see these pictures and I'm like,
I just, you know, how the problem is, like, when I'm out there searching, it's such a vast area. How much of a head start did they have? I mean, this could have happened a month ago. We don't have anybody that stepped forward of all these relatives, and there's been some relatives that have given some dirt on these people, right? Nobody has come forward and said, I did see the child, you know, on this day at this place. Like, nobody. We don't have a starting point. I mean, how long has this kid been gone? Is this going to be another Harmony Montgomery type situation? But this kid's been gone a very long time. I mean, I know he's only 7 months old, but I mean, but those pictures, when they're describing him as 24 inches or whatever, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's a 7-month-old or not, or I don't know if that's a 4-month-old.
Well, I guess I'd like to see when was the last time this child saw a pediatrician, and then
Yeah.
maybe kind of go from there. I know people, some people don't vaccinate, and I'm not even going to get into that conversation, but I mean that like those wellness checks are important because that's when a doctor has eyes on. Other than
Right.
that, when they're at that age, and let's say enter school, preschool, or daycare, nobody really has eyes on, and people get away
Right.
with a lot of stuff around that time. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, I'm kind of curious if the detectives went to talk to any pediatricians or
Oh,
uh,
I'm sure that they've tried.
at this
Listen,
point.
if the brother really did OD when the brother died, if he did OD, that was July 24th. If the OD really did happen at their house, which I've heard, then detectives would have been there. Paramedics, firefighters, the initial response. Did anybody see that baby then when they were in the house and revive this guy?
Yeah.
There's ironically, literally 2 doors down from them is a sheriff's station. Where that house burnt down across the street. The next
Yeah,
door is a sheriff's station.
that's
So
what I heard.
did they have surveillance of anybody walking the baby or anything like that? And I saw a comment come by where somebody said, the Big Five will have surveillance, and they got that. Believe it or not, I've been there. I went to that Big Five, talked to them. They don't have surveillance.
That's
outside.
crazy.
So, but there is a jewelry store like connected to the parking lot, and they do have multiple cameras. So,
And they did give that surveillance to law enforcement. I saw that too because that report, La Tira went over there, and they said that they gave all that to law enforcement. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, SF, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that they've got a lot of surveillance. I
Yeah.
know that I did that drive from the football field to the Big Five, and I know that she may have made stops for her. But I mean, there's all types of surveillance along the way, including another police station that's on Kuiper Boulevard. She will have been caught, and a lot now. Whether you can see the child in the car or not, I don't know. But or if you can see, is there anybody else in the car with her? Because there is one part of that video of the SUV pulling up in the parking lot where, I can't tell for sure, but it almost looks like somebody maybe gets out of like the right back seat or something like that. Or it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, SF, I really appreciate you hitting the link and just kind of letting us know your thoughts. I do have to head out because I got to go tend to baby bunny, but
No problem. So I'm gonna go back.
You're gonna go back?
I'm gonna go back either tonight or first thing in the morning. So I'll keep you updated if I find out.
Oh my God, please do. You guys make sure you follow SF Investigates on Twitter. Because that's where he has his updates too. And I know Ahmad will drop a link there, but I really do appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get a press conference, an arrest, a sighting, something.
I think I don't have any inside information, but I think something's gonna happen today.
Yeah. Y'all, I'm there with you too, SF, on that one.
Cool.
Thank you so much, SF, for
all right. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I don't know how to get out of here, so if you can,
I'll kick you out.
All right, thank you.
I got you. Bye. Oh my God, he's funny. He's like, I don't know how to get out. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go tend to baby bunny. But y'all, shout out to SF Investigates for hitting the link. He didn't have to come through, but he did. And every time I'm always just at odd by the information that he has. Shout out to him. He's a channel friend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, make sure you guys, if you know anything, of course, contact law enforcement if you're in that area. But shout out to everybody, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Have a good one, guys.